Okay, so we are going to look at all the areas here. So let's begin with the file system navigation. I'm just going to launch my terminal. So we'll be using terminal for this tutorial to navigate to achieve all these functions right here. So let's begin with file system navigation. So this one is moving between directories and exploring the file structures. So the first command here is the pwd. So this one stands for print working directory, and it tells you where you are. You can simply just look at the prefix around here. Let me try to move to another directory. So to move to another directory, okay, so let me list first all the directories that are in this current directory. So directory is a folder, so I have all these folders right here. I'm going to move to my downloads, so cd downloads, like this one. So Linux is case sensitive, so this one has to be capital D, but I just write it with lowercase d and then press tab to rectify that one and to autocomplete. So when I move to the downloads, notice that the path right here is changed to download. So this Matilde right here, that symbol, let me just zoom in. So this symbol here denotes the home directory. I can go back to the home directory using the cd command and then insert that Matilde right there. Remember that currently we're in the downloads directory, so when I print my working directory this time, I'm back in the home directory. So let me show you another way how you can move to the home directory. So let's go back to downloads. First let me clear the screen because it's getting filled up. So to clear the screen, you just use that command clear, and let's go back to the downloads folder, tab to autocomplete, and let's move back to the home directory right now. So you just use cd. So whichever directory you are in, when you use cd, it will take you to the home directory. So that one takes me back to the home directory. You can see that the prefix here is that tilde for home directory. Okay, so let me look at the notes again. So let me zoom in, expand this one, zoom in one more. So moving between directories and exploring the file structure. So we have the Linux file structure is so robust. I will not cover everything in this tutorial. I'm just going to cover the home directory in this tutorial and how you can move from one directory to another. So right now we have managed to move from the home directory to the downloads directory, back and forth. So let's move to other directories. Under the home directory, when I try to list all the files that all the folders that I have here, I have this coding projects directory. I can just move into that directory, tab to autocomplete, and ls. I have these other directories. I can try to move to the GitHub repos directory, and let me clear the screen. So once I'm here and I want to move back to another directory that was in the home directory, let me just bring up another terminal window, zoom in. So let's move back to the home directory. Remember I said you can use either the cd and Matilde or just cd. So this one takes me back to the home directory, and under the home directory we have all these folders. In this other window, I'm in the GitHub repos, and when I try to ls, I have this single directory. Let's say I want to move back to the home directory. I'll switch tabs here. Let's say I want to move to the maybe downloads directory again. So I just cd to downloads. I just cd downloads, but you realize that downloads is not here, so this one will not work. So I first must use cd and then that tilde to denote that I want to move to the home directory, and under the home directory I want to move to the downloads folder specifically. So this one should work, and now I'm currently in the downloads directory in the home directory. I managed to move to the downloads from another folder that was not we managed to move to the downloads directory from another folder, even though the downloads directory was not listed as a subdirectory in this directory. And I said that directories are just folder, so that one was just moving around folders. And I think that's all for this section. And next you're going to application management, and we're going to look at launching and closing applications through the user interface. And the interface that you're going to be using is the command line interface. So let me just clear the screen right here. I have this text editor. I can just try to launch it using the graphical user interface, Sublime, and press enter on that one. So this one is my text editor. I'm going to launch it from the terminal right now. So I know that the command for that one is subl, just like that one. So this one will launch that text editor. So there are some other programs that, let me close this one first. So there are other programs like the Firefox. I'm just going to launch that one and show you something. So Firefox, yeah, let's launch that one. So I managed to launch Firefox, but when I go back to my terminal and try to type something, let me try to type a valid command like ls, this one will not work because the terminal is opened as a foreground process in the terminal. If I want to still use my terminal and have this program launched, let me just close it right there. So that commands get executed after I close the terminal. So if I still want to use my terminal, let me just clear this one. I'll just use the same command as before, Firefox, and then use that and sign. So this one will run Firefox as a background process. Let's try this one. So Firefox is running and I can still use my terminal. So sometimes you want to run your applications as background processes, sometimes you just want them as foreground processes, whichever you want. I hope you now know the commands. So let's close this one. Okay, so next was closing the application using the terminal. Let's do that right here. I'm just going to clear, and in this tab, this new tab, I'm just going to clear also, and I'm going to launch a program. It's called htop. So this one will give me the process ID of the program that I want to shut down. In terminal we use process IDs to shut down the not only to shut down the program, but the process ID is used to manage a running program. So under this section you can see the process ID, and the process that I want to shut down is Firefox. You can see under the command section we have the program, and its process ID is 127074. So let me go back to my terminal, to this other tab, and we are just going to kill that process using this command, and then pass in the process ID. It was 127074. So 127074, and that one is going to stop that running process. In short, it's just closing the running application. Okay, so let's move on. We have file and directory operations. So we have copy, moving and deleting files and directory. So let's begin with files. Now that I'm in the downloads, there are some files that I want to delete. I want to delete this file. The command is rm and the name of the file, so atom, and I'm just going to press tab to complete this one. Okay, so we have two folders, so let me go with the AMD. I spelled that out right. So okay, so this one is going to delete this file. So let me run that one and now type ls, and this file is now missing from the listings right here. Okay, so there's another way of deleting a file, but I'll move to that one later. let me just still show you how to copy, moving and deleting. We have covered deleting, let's cover copying and moving. So I want to copy this file, and the command is simple, cp and the file name that you want to copy, and now the new file name that you want to copy into. I'm just going to use same name right here, but I'll call this one, just insert one there. So let's run this one. So this one is going to copy the contents of this file into this new file right here. So now when I type ls, we have a new file, this one right here, that has been copied from the existing file right here, and I can just still delete that file using the rm and the name of the file that I want to delete. So it's jdk bin, and just going with 1 there, and this one is going to delete this file. And now when I type ls, that file is missing from this listing right here. So let me just clear the screen once more. Now let's see how we can move this file. So just going to switch to this other tab and quit this process. Just press q, that one will quit, and type ls and try to move into my desktop. I currently have no files in my desktop, so let me move to the desktop, and when I type ls, it is empty, so I can just clear this one. And coming back to the downloads, I want to type ls, and I want to move this file into my downloads. So the command is simple, so mv, and where do you want to move the file in? We want to move the file to the downloads, to the desktop, I mean. So remember this symbol right here means that we are going to the home directory, and we are going to the desktop directory that is in the home directory, and you are going to, actually we first must specify the file name. I'm just going to leave a space in, come back here, and the file name. So you're going to move this file into this new location. So when you press enter on that one, the file appears in my desktop, as you can see it there. I can just come here and type ls, and the file is there, but under the downloads, when I type ls, the file is now missing because moving is just changing its location. If you want to copy that file into, if you want to copy the file into that location, you can come back to the desktop because the file is here right now, and I'm just going to copy it back into the downloads. So jdk tab to autocomplete, and you're going to the home directory, and it will be downloads, and the file name, the new file name. So I'm just still going with jdk. Let me just use short name right here, or I can just copy this right here. So copy that one, paste there, and right here I'm just going to have those one and copied. So when I press enter on this one is going to copy this file into the downloads, and it's going to copy it under this name. So when I come back to the downloads and type ls, we now have that file copied to this new location. So let's come back here. So that one was about copying, moving and deleting files. Okay, so let me go to copying, moving and deleting directories now that we've covered files. Okay, so let me delete this file from the desktop because I don't need it there. So rm and jdk, so that one deletes that file from the desktop, and clear. You can also like clear the screen just using Control L. That one is going to push everything up and give you this clean terminal. So I'm just going here to the desktop and create a folder. I'm going to create 2 new folders. So the command is mkdir and folder 1, and you're going to have another folder, folder 2. So this one is going to create 2 folders, folder 1 and folder 2, and here they've been created. You can just type ls to list them. And now let's let's move some files into one of these folders. I'm just going to move, let me come back to the downloads. I'm going to work with this JDK file, so let's move that file into one of these folder. So move, and the location of the file is in the downloads, and it's JDK. Okay, so I just use tab to autocomplete that one, and let's give it the new location where we want to move it. So I'm just going to put that dot right there. So that one means that move this file into this current directory. This dot means current directory. You do not have to type it all like slash desktop slash maybe folder 1 folder 1. You do not have to specify all of this. You can just simply say okay, let's go back here. I want to show you something. So slash desktop slash folder 1, you can just simply eliminate all of this one and just use that dot slash. So this one is just going to move it into the current directory, and the current directory we are in is the desktop, and it's going to move it into this file folder 1. So when I try to list the contents of folder 1 using the ls command, I can just use ls and type in the name of the folder that I want to list the files. So this one is going to have this JDK right here because we moved it from the downloads. When I come back to the downloads and try to, let's clear the screen using Control L and ls, and JDK is missing from this location, so it's now present in this location. So when I type ls, I have folder 1 with this file, but folder 2 is empty. We can verify that one by just saying ls folder 2, and we get nothing. So let's try to delete folder 1. So the command should be rm. Let's begin with folder 2 because folder 2 is empty. So the command is rmdir and the name of the folder that you want to delete. That one is going to delete folder 2 for us. Let's now try to delete folder 1. So this one is not going to work because folder 1 is not empty. This command can only be used when the folder that you're trying to delete is empty, but when it has some files in it or other folders, the command should be rm -rf. So this one is going to delete the file whether it has files or not, and the file is now missing. When I try to type ls, we have nothing there. So far we have covered copying files, moving files, deleting files. We've not really covered, we've covered deleting, and let's cover copying and moving folders. So let's create a new folder. I'm just going to create these two folders again, and I want to I want to move folder 1 into folder 2. We just simply use the move command and the name of the folder. So we're going to move folder 1 into folder 2. So right here I'm going to have folder 2, and folder 1, when I type ls, we now have folder 2 in this current location, and when I type ls folder 2, folder 1 is within folder 2 now. So that one was moving folders, deleting folders you had covered, copying folders. Let's cover that real quick. So we're just going to copy folder 2, I mean. Let's copy folder 1 that is in folder 2 into the current location. I don't know if you caught that. So we are going to copy folder 1. So this one is just specifying the location where folder 1 is located, and I told you if you can still use this dot to denote the current location. So but okay, that one will not work. So let's just use that one. Will not work. If you try that one, it won't work. So folder 1, and I'm just going to copy folder 1 into this current location using that dot. Okay, so I forgot to give it the name, so dot slash, and I'm just going to say copied folder. This one would have been cool if you had some content in folder 1. Actually, let's create some file into the folder 1. So I'm just going to echo hello into desktop. I'm just going to specify desktop, folder 2 and folder 1, and let's create a new file called new.txt. so this one is just going to create a new file and add this content to that file. So when I try to cut the content of that file, so cut is used to read the contents of a file. I'm just skipping through what you're supposed to cover here, but I'll just cover it more detailed when we reach into that section. It's just something I want to demonstrate. So we're going to cut desktop slash folder 2 folder 1 and new.txt. so we get this text right here. So let's come back here. So you're going to copy the contents of folder 1 into a new folder called copied folder, and the reason of creating this file right here is that when you are copying, this file gets copied along. So let's try that one. R not specified. Okay, so I need to use R for recursive. This one means that copy everything that is located in this folder into this new folder. Okay, so that one worked, and I'm just going to clear this one, and let's try to ls the contents of the copied folder. So we have this new file right here that we created, and you can just read the contents of that file to verify that it's the same as the contents of folder 1, which is located inside folder 2. So copied folder, new text, and it's the same. So that one was all about copying, moving, deleting files and directories. So let's go to text editing. So this one entails creating and editing text files using text editors. So the text editor that you're going to be using is Nano. That one is a command line text editor. So remember when I use this syntax, so echo hello, remember when I use this syntax, so we can just simply let's modify the contents of this file of the new.txt using Nano. So you can navigate through the commands that you had typed earlier by pressing the up arrow key to go up the commands or down arrow key to move down. So let's open that folder, let's open that file, I mean, and now we can edit the contents of this file. So I'm just going to add let's still have hello and 1 2 3. Yeah, let me leave a space here. So down below here are a couple of shortcuts. So we want to save into this file. That one is going to be the write out. So it's control O. The inverted what's this? I don't know what that is. So this inverted symbol means control. So I'm just going to press control O, and that one is going to prompt me to save my work, and I'm just going to agree to that one. Just press enter, and we have wrote one line. And when I try to move this one into okay, let me just have new content into another line. So some content, and I can just still write out this content. So control O, press enter, and now we wrote 2 lines, and I can exit out of this file using control X. It's just located there. So control X, that one will exit out. But we also have another way of saving and exiting out of the file. So let me just go back into this file and add another content, and you can simply just press control S. That one will save the file without prompting you what name you are saving it under, and you can just press Ctrl X to exit. Pretty much the same thing. So that one was the nano text editor and how you can use it to edit text files. So you can also use it to create new text file. I currently do not have a file here, but I can just use nano new file .txt. It's going to be a text file, and I'm just going to write something. I'm going to write something into this file, save the work by pressing Ctrl S and Ctrl X to exit. And now when I type ls, we have this new file created for us, and I can just try to view the contents of the file using the cat command. So that was all about creating and editing text file using nano. So next we are going to system information. So this one entails accessing information about the system, such as its name, status, and storage. So let's begin with the name. The command is uname tag a or -a, and then it's just going to give you the system name, the type of operating system you are using, the exact version of the operating system you are using, and the release date, I think. And this one is the architecture of the CPU. So this one is listing your system name. Let me pick, what do you have? Status and storage. Okay, so we can view more details about our system. We can view more details about the CPU by using this command ls CPU, and this one is just going to list a bunch of details about my processor, the type of the architecture, the operation modes, the CPUs that I have, all this stuff about my processor, the base speed, and all that stuff. So if you ever need to view details about your processor, then ls CPU is the command. I'm just going to clean that terminal. So we can also monitor system resources such as the CPU usage, the RAM usage, using htop. We already used this one earlier. So this is just going to give me a summary of my total memory. I have 8 gigs installed here, the swap, the processors and their usage. This one shows the individual processor usage, but you can press F2 to edit this one. I can just go to meters. I'm using the arrow keys to move, so meters, and the left, it's not right or left, this one's the right arrow key, and I'm just still going to press the right arrow key and then the right arrow key to move into this available meters column. And here you can just add something new. I'm just going to, like, let me see what I can add. So CPU average is going to give me the average of all of my CPU usage. I'm just going to press enter on that one, and then we have average on this side, and we can move it to the other side by simply using the arrow keys. This one is not really the scope of this video, I'm just showing you for the fun of it. And when you're done, you can just press why this one's not working. Okay, just press enter. No, still working. I'm just going to close this that tab, and now let's try to launch htop again. So we have the where did it go? I must have not saved it, so let's go back to F2, meters. I'm just going to scroll down and move back here. Where is that? CPU average. Yeah, I'm going to move it to the left and try to save. So F10, it says F10, but it's not working for me. I think you will figure out this on your own. Just going to close that one. So the next step is about storage. So if you want to view the storage, you can just use a built-in tool. Let me see, what tool. We have one tool called gparted, like this one. So you must use sudo to run this one because it's an administration tool, and it's going to ask you for your password. So just go ahead and type in your password right there. and this one is going to launch gparted, and you can view all the partitions that you have. And if you have more than one drives, you can just come here, press here, and you'll be able to see all of those drives. Let me try to plug in another drive and see. Okay, so I just plugged in another drive. I'm just going to refresh this one, come here and refresh. The shortcut is Control R. Okay, when I press this one, I now have the other drive right here. If you have multiple drives, then you can just press this down arrow thing. Is it I don't know what that is. So you can just press that thing and you can manage all your drives from that point. I'm just going to unplug that one. Okay, so you can also still use another utility. It's called the system monitor, and this one is also going to give you a summary of total CPU usage, the total memory that you have, the swap, the network load down below here, and the file systems, and all the drives that you have will show up here, and the running processes also. So those are very important tools that you can use to view information about your system. So next you're going to software installation and management. So we have adding, updating, and removing software applications. I'm not going to remove any of my softwares, but I'm going to show you how you can add, update, and also just show you how you can remove, but I'm not going to remove anything. So the command is simple. So it's sudo apt and install, and the name of the program that you want to install. Maybe you want to install Chrome. In here, that's the command. I'm not going to press enter on this one because it's going to take a long time. So you can just use this command to fire up to install Chrome, I mean, and you can use this command to remove. So you can use this command to remove any of your installed softwares. And let's see, you can use sudo apt update. It's not actually update, but it's upgrade. So if you're from Windows, now you must be wondering, but upgrade here is the same as update on Windows, and then update here is another thing. So this one is how you can update an existing software. If you want to update the whole of the operating system, then you can just use sudo apt upgrade. Sudo apt upgrade. This one is just going to upgrade your system, and yeah, I just recently upgraded this one, and if you have not upgraded yours recently, then it is going to install all of those updates from whichever sites. So that one was about adding, updating, and removing software applications. Next, you're going to user and permission management. So let's create a new file here. I'm just going to say where are we? We are in the downloads currently. I'm just going to create a new file using nano. So nano, and I'm just going to call this one script.sh, and once I'm here, I'm just going to type this /bin/bash, and I'm just going to use to type in that one there. So I'm going to save this one and exit out of that file, and now I'm going to try to run that script. So when I run that script, it should just give me this output that you are seeing here. It's going to run this ls command and then give me this output. So let's try to run that command. So let's try to run that script. So we use this one to run it, or you can just simply use bash to run it, whichever you find simple or impressive to you. So this one is going to run that one, and it's just like running the ls command. So let's try. I was hoping to try something that's going to involve user user system administrator commands, I mean. So let me just try to have sudo right there, save this one, and try to run this one once more. Okay, this one is not working. This is not working. Okay, I have other files that I can run. So ls. So we are currently covering user and permission management. So this one entails creating and managing user accounts and permissions. So if you want to create another account, you simply use user add and the name of the user that you want to add, maybe user 1, and when you press enter on this one, it's going to add that user. I'm not going to create another user. Or you can use this other command. Both of these are just valid commands. So add user and the name of the user, and both of those are going to add a new user to your system. I'm not trying to add a new user to my system, so I'm not going to run that one. And user permission. Sometimes you need permissions to run files. Let me say that I want to install this file. The command is dpkg -i and the name of the file, and this one will tell me the requested operation requires user privileges. So to perform some actions, you need to have you need to have super user privilege. Super user is just an administrator. If you've been using Windows, I don't know about other operating system. So it's the root. Super user is just the root user for Linux system. To run this as the root user, you simply use sudo right here, and when you press enter on this one, it's going to install this. It's going to install this software or program. So next you're going to system updates. I think I already talked about this one, so I'm just going to skip that one. And finally you're going to shut down and restart. Let me come here. So when you want to shut down your system, you just say shut down, and when you press enter on this one is going to shut down your system. I'm not trying to do that. So when you want to restart your system, you just use reboot command, and this one is going to restart your system for you.